Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of Harmonia plugin tutorials. In this episode, we'll go over the floor generator. To open it, click the floor button in the compass menu. Add a generator with the plus floor button, select the mesh you want as your base, and press Add Selected. From here on, you're looking at a live preview of the floor. At the top, you choose Floor or Wall, so the tool works on horizontal or vertical surfaces. Hide Source Surfaces is on by default, so you see the preview, not the mesh underneath. Plane height decides where the boards sit relative to your base mesh, its highest point, its mean, or its lowest. Flat in World XY generates a flat floor with no tilt on Z, even if your base mesh is inclined. The next few values clean up the boundary. Face tolerance sets how far a face can deviate before the tool stops counting it as the same surface. Height offset lifts the boards clear of the source mesh so the two don't fight for the same space. Boundary inset pulls the boundary in from its edges. Gap merge joins boundaries separated by a small gap so they generate as one floor. And fill holes under closes small holes rather than leaving gaps. Then the patterns: standard, herringbone, chevron, basket weave, hexagon, and custom. Under board size, you set the length and width of your boards. Each is a single value by default, but the equals button opens a minimum and maximum, plus a bias deciding whether sizes lean low or high. Row offset works the same way, and sets how far each row shifts against the one before, so at 50%, boards land halfway across their neighbors. In profile, extrude gives your board's thickness, and extrude height sets how many centimeters. Bevel and bevel amount round the top edges, and outline inset creates an inward offset on each board. Grout controls the spacing between boards. Along the run sets the gap within a row, and between rows the gap across rows, though with rows match the run on, the two stay tied together. You can also fill the grout with a material rather than leave a gap. Drop it in here, then use recess to set how far below the boards it sits, and UV tile size for its scale. Variation per board is what stops the floor looking machine-made. Rotation, offset X and offset Y each take an up to and a down to value with a bias, and link offset X and Y ties the two together. Tilt across width and tilt along length do the same for angle, so boards sit slightly proud of each other like a worn floor. Max overlap caps how far they may overlap once that randomness applies. In general, scale multiplies the board sizes you set earlier, a quicker way to resize the pattern. Direction rotates it, seed randomizes the generation, and pattern offset X and Y slide it across the surface. Weld merges vertices closer than the weld threshold, and min piece discards the tiny offcuts at the boundary edges. Flip normals is for when your base mesh has its normals the wrong way round, and the floor inherits them, and preview collision gives the preview a collision to click and trace against. Under random IDs, you can assign one material to every board, or raise the ID count and give each a different material, spread randomly across the floor. There's also a second way, using one material. With Vary Planks on, the tool splits your boards into a number of tone steps between the brightness and gamma, minimums and maximums. It writes those values into a UV channel, set here, which your master material reads back. As the panel shows, you take your base color, raise it to the power of the green channel of that texture coordinate, then multiply by the red channel. Put that behind a switch named Floor Gen Randomizer, enable it on your instance, and one material varies board by board with no extra IDs. The UV settings control how that material sits on the boards, the channel, the tile size, and switches to randomly flip and offset the mapping in U and V, so no two boards read alike. Once the floor looks right, set your folder and press Bake to Static Mesh, which spawns the asset and drops a static mesh actor into your scene. The other patterns work the same way. Custom is the interesting one, because it builds the floor row by row. Define a row A at 100 by 10 centimeters, add a row B at 50 by 20, duplicate B so it repeats twice before A comes back, and build the layout your project needs. The point is that instead of modeling a floor in external software and importing it, you build it in Unreal. Your settings survive baking, so you can swap the boundary mesh for a different one and reuse the same setup elsewhere. You also choose which level the generated mesh goes into, and you can switch the preview off while you work, since after baking it's just a static mesh you manage from the outliner. With that, we come to the conclusion of this episode. In the next one, we'll look at white override and the guides panel. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.